I kind of want to talk about this. Kind of want to talk about this. Can we just talk about this for a moment? The White House posting the Ghibli meme. So if you're a grass toucher and you haven't been on Twitter, um, I just want to say I'm jealous of you. Okay, I'm very jealous of you because Twitter or X or whatever is absolutely swarmed with Ghibli memes, okay, with Ghiblified images. And the thing is what happened is that OpenAI rolled out a new generation of ChatGPT of its AI, and now you can ask ChatGPT to create Ghiblified versions of images that you are giving ChatGPT. So Twitter was filled with memes that are kind of good. I actually kind of enjoy a lot of the memeified um stuff, right? Like for example, if I go to bookmarks and I go down here, there are some really iconic photos, shots, movie shots, and memes that are just essentially Ghiblified. And the humor from this comes from the fact that these are really serious photos, really outrageous things that are not in any shape or form this innocent childlike wonder that Ghibli movies typically depict. So so instead, what you have, all right, is essentially, well, this, right? Like this is from Oppenheimer and this is Ghiblified, right? You can see here Einstein. By the way, I just want to say Einstein was miserable in this scene, okay, in Oppenheimer. And Oppenheimer was also miserable. So it's kind of funny how, now they're depicted as smiling. Here's another one I saved. So for those of you guys who don't know, the porn star known as Ayla, who is also a data scientist, she she's for her birthday she hosted a game bang, and she slept with I think she tried to invite like over 1,000 people, um and she essentially published this as a graph and where it came in. So she she made this, and this is Ayla, okay? Ayla Ghiblified, I guess. um Yeah. So this is data collected from her fucking like 50 trillion guys in a row. Turn Ghibli. Okay. All right. That's enough. All right. Next. Okay. So here is, no, you can't just make everything Studio Ghibli. And you can see here, it's the memeified version of this meme. All right. 1,000 is like an order of magnitude or two off. Yeah, sure. So this is one of my favorites. This is what I kind of set as my profile picture on Twitter now. All right. But you can see here, this is rooftop Koreans. Okay. Rooftop Koreans Ghiblified. And it just looks so cool. It actually looks really cool, doesn't it? Doesn't it look like really cool? I think it looks cool. Um, and look at this. Like the original photo was so fucking cool. Um, and this it's such an iconic photo that's turned into Ghibli style, and I honestly really like it. Okay, I honestly really like it. More rooftop Koreans. This is rooftop Koreans again. All right. So very cool, very cool. Um, and of course we have some crazy stuff. This is Elon Musk, right? The salute. Okay. Um, the forks. And tell me you have a Ghiblified Mr. Girl bookmark somewhere there. I don't, unfortunately. And you can see here that this is Elon Musk on the steps to a plane. All right, maybe this is Air Force One. I'm not entirely sure. Um, and this is also one of my favorites. Okay, this is a Ghiblified painting of a burning Tesla in front of Trump Towers. It's another iconic photo in the recent years. All right. This will go down the annals of history, in my opinion. but you know, this was epic and cool, as they say in the Trump terms. Need to talk about this one. Um, George Floyd, Giblified. So, yeah. All right, cool. Moving on, okay? That does not look like Chauvin. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so here is the survivor's bias meme. Basically, what the survivor's bias is you know, the only ones who live to tell the tale are the ones that actually contribute to um you know, the thing. Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry, the only ones who contribute to the data set are the ones who live to tell the tale. That is survivor's bias. Yeah, okay. And this one is also great. This one is the White House posted one of these. It's so gross. I agree. So this one is great. So this is the Trump and JD Vance explaining to him that he doesn't have the cards. Giblified. All right, so we have this. We have this iconic Trump versus world leaders um image right here. I think this is really good. I think this one is one of my favorites because it you can still feel the original air of the photo. Yeah. Miyazaki was so disgusted by this. I'm pretty sure he made a comment on it years ago, right? This is another favorite one. I might actually use this. Look at this. It's the standing up meme, okay? I have a spicy take, guys. I have a spicy take. I am standing up. All right. So this is obviously what it's referencing, okay? Because it lacked human emotion and traits. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I'll talk about that later, about my own personal opinion on that. Meme, the guy, you know, upset meme in the crowd. Um, the dudester explaining to woman meme. All right, so here explain to woman, explain to woman, and explain to woman. Oh, I mean the woman explained to the guy now. Okay, so these are different versions of this, I guess. Um, so yeah, now we have memeified versions of this, and unfortunately, we will also have this. All right, the original artist Freedom of Speech by Norman Rockwell. Yeah, so now we have the Trump fist. Okay, it pains me to see this because it actually goes hard. Okay, it actually sucks so much that it goes hard. I don't know why he has Goku hair. Okay, let's just, what if I say base? You're allowed to say base. Sir, another plane has hit the towers. So yeah, I mean, like, I guess we have this now as well. Very cool. This was when the fact that I even memorized the context of all of these images is, you know, a feat in of itself. Okay, listen, I'm proud of myself. Okay, for actually knowing history. So this is when there was a shooter in the Canada, in the Canadian political building, and he took the guy down, and he was pointing to the air and shouting with a pistol in his hand, and it goes really hard. Okay, like the original photo is, yeah. Wait, hold on. No, it's not. Russian ambassador in Turkey got assassinated by a Turkish patriot. Well, I guess it's not the same then. Andrei Karlov assassination, attack on Russian ambassador Andrei Karlov during the... Oh shit. Okay, hold on. I got the context of this wrong. Fuck me, I guess. All right, never mind. Now there you go. Um, so this is a iconic Soviet retaking. I think this is like, was this the taking of Stalingrad? Like the retaking of Stalingrad or something? Fuck, I forgot. But yeah, this was like during World War II, I think. Yeah. Another version of this, Tank Man, but it left out the fucking plastic bags, I guess. So there you go. All right. Um, nice. So yeah, cool. I don't know why I left out the plastic bags. They shouldn't have left that out. Berlin. Oh, that's Berlin. Okay, I see. All right. Classic. Okay. Twin towers getting attacked by the planes. Um, and yeah, cool. Here is the Unabomber getting arrested. So, yeah, cool. Um, this is JFK getting shot. The First Lady running back across the trunk of the car in desperation as one of the people in the back tried to get onto the car. So this was what this was. All right. I don't know what the fuck this context is, but yeah. Wait, is this the Bosnian genocide hearing? Wait, is this the Bosnian genocide hearings? I think so, right? This is the tribunal. Nuremberg trials? Fuck, wrong trial. Wrong genocide trial. Wrong genocide trial. Fuck. Okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. We don't talk about this one. If you know, you know, but we don't talk about this one. Um, let's just not talk about this one, okay? Let's just, if you know, you know, but like, let's just not talk about this one. Okay, cool. The protesting, burning monk, classic. All right, beautiful. Even the fire is like beautifully converted. That's crazy. I don't get it. Don't worry about it. Okay. I'll do it for a donation. If you donate, I'll explain it. Okay. Cool. Wow, Temu knows exactly what I want. Beautiful dresses. Thank you, Temu. Okay, all right. So there you go. Okay, but let's just go back to the very top because now it just brings us back to this. So first of all, I want to give my take on this whole thing. I think that technology will always progress no matter what, and people will always optimize for efficiency, and people will always optimize for what's easy. I think it hurts artists, but I think this is natural evolution. I think this is a natural evolution of this kind of technology. And there's not much you can do about it, unfortunately. I think that obviously for Miyazaki, it sucks the most because he gets to see, because he's a very traditional person. Um, so obviously this is going to hurt him the most, feelings wise, right? His art style that is being like repurposed for, AI stuff. However, at the same time, um, you know, it's kind of inevitable. Inevitable? Yeah, it's inevitable, basically, right? Um, it's bound to happen. Now, are all Ghibli films hand drawn? Yes, they are. I remember seeing a really good post about how artists need to learn how to use AI now because you can still draw your art, but you can use AI to assist you. You can use AI to help you make things, right? Um, and in a way, a lot of artists are very conservative in their own field because they think that there's something inherently good about drawing stuff with your hand, which it is, okay? Let's just be honest. There is something inherently good about that because the effort that's put into it is intentional. However, at the same time, you kind of have to get with the times or be left behind. And I think that's the cruel part of, technology like this. Yeah. If things always evolve to the most efficient state, are we currently as efficient as possible? If not, then doesn't that show that we have sacrificed efficiency for other values? Um, we are as efficient as possible right now, but there will always be pushback. But if you take a look at it overall, then yeah, like there will always be laws that go against efficiency. There will always be laws that go against this kind of stuff. Um, and take us back like 2 steps, right? But at the same time, you can't stop the march of progress. It's impossible to stop. And ultimately, it's the people who leave their thinking, their traditional way of thinking behind to embrace new forms of art and to embrace new forms of technology, that ultimately these are the kinds of people that will thrive in a new world. And then people who are older will always be left behind. It's kind of like the whole thing with like horses and cars, right? It's kind of like the same thing. Um, I mean, like as unfortunate as it is, you can't deny that there is also something good about people reappreciating old historical images just because of this technology, right? Like you can't tell me that people are rediscovering like aren't like rediscovering history, rediscovering the context of things, just through these giblified ways of viewing these kinds of photos, right? I mean, there was a time when camera didn't exist and portraits have to be drawn with hands. What happened to those people? Yeah, exactly. Pretty much, right? And some people would argue that there's art in trying to draw portraits of people, right? Victorian times. Um, and they would be correct. There is art of that. But this stuff has not gone away. Drawing portraits of people have not gone away. But obviously people have now put a lot more stake in photography, right? Like trying to learn how to do photography and stuff like that. Like this stuff is still, important to people. Both are important to people. Yeah. So which brings us to this. Virginia Basora Gonzalez, a previously deported alien felon convicted of fentanyl trafficking, was arrested by ICE Gov in Philadelphia after illegally re-entering the U.S. She wept when taken into custody. Picture attached. And let's just take a look at this new info thing, okay? Philadelphia, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the U.S. Marshal Service, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive arrested Virginia Basora. What did he do? With attempted possession with intent to distribute 40 grams or more of fentanyl and aiding and abetting on January 6, 2019. Basora Gonzalez was sentenced to 12 months and 1 day confinement and 4 years of supervised release, March 12, 2020, after pleading guilty to the charges. So this was actually a while ago, all right? So this wasn't something that happened like 2 days ago or something. This happened a while ago. However, at the same time, this post is fucking insane. Having this giblified, with somebody who has been arrested. I mean, like, here's the thing: as much as you can condemn like drug dealers and people who distribute drugs, at the same time, people don't do bad things out of nowhere. She was probably poor. She probably had no other choice. Maybe she has to support like 10 kids or something. You don't know how a person ends up in this position. And people are probably going to be making fun of the fact that she was also incredibly obese as well. While that is the case, there's a reason for that, right? When people don't have access to nutrition, when people don't have access to groceries near their place, they're going to turn to KFC. They're going to turn to fast food, which is cheaper, faster, more efficient for them. So yeah, like it kind of goes to show that this is more of a circumstance of poverty rather than the circumstance of actually being evil. This is not a kingpin who is like a master orchestrator of like different things, like somebody who ordered the deaths and executions of a bunch of people. This kind of reminds me of somebody who is ended up in the position of poverty, unable to maybe keep up a job for whatever reason, and now this person is being arrested for distributing fentanyl. Okay, but regardless or not, like obviously the law has to be carried out, and it is what it is. But at the same time, regardless of it, it does seem kind of insensitive, I guess, to giblify it. I mean, just such a wild thing to do. Trying to make entertainment and making light of arrests and deportations and stuff is a one-way ticket to fascism for sure. Okay, you're making light of something because when you're making light of something like this, eventually you are making the masses and the people more used to seeing this. And the more you make light of it, the more people are easily swayed by things like this. But swayed and pushed in that direction, right? It's kind of like manufactured consent, basically. And yeah, like this is essentially what the ultimate problem here is, right? People are fat because of high food drive and low conscientiousness, aka ability to resist the food drive consistently generally. Oh, okay. It's probably a combination, right? Because otherwise, why there's so much poor people who are fat, right? Like it's not because, it's not just because they are fat because of high food drive that's born of like that, right? Like I don't think people are born to have high food drive. It's probably because they're poor and then they got into these positions where they develop a high food drive and low conscientiousness eventually, right? No, it's like 90% of it. Shit, is it? Fuck me. Hold on, let me see.